Hi everyone, my name is Satisha Kumar K, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Vivekananda Engineering College, Puttur. Today I am going to explain you about Model 2 under Automobile Engineering subject. The Model 2 is transmission system and brake system. The transmission system consists of clutch, gearbox, propeller shaft and differential gears. The brake system consists of different types of brakes what we are using in automobile. Today I am explain only about clutches and gearbox that coming under transmission system. Transmission or powertrains or gearbox. Engine would have power enough to operate a vehicle without a transmission, provided the vehicle operated on a reasonable level roads like normal roads. When the vehicle must be started from a standstill, the engine would not provide sufficient power and the vehicle would stop. That means when vehicle moving in a normal road, it doesn't require more power, but vehicle moving in a uphill road, it requires more power. On that time, that transmission or gearbox come into picture. The much less torque is required to move the vehicle on the level ground or normal road, and but it requires heavy torque required while vehicle moving in a uphill or it carries a more load. To enable the engine to increase the torque to drive line, a torque multiplier is very essential, that is transmission. Different types of semi-automatic and automatic transmissions are used in recent years. The transmission consists of a different type of gear ratios. The transmission system, the main necessity of gear ratio in transmission. One is variation of resistance to the vehicle motion at different speed. Second one, variation of tractive effort of the vehicle available at different speed. This is the main necessity of gear ratio in transmission. The transmission systems are classified into two types, mainly two types: manual transmission system and automatic transmission system. And we can call it one more is semi-automatic also. But in manual transmission, once again divided into three types: sliding mesh gearbox, constant mesh gearbox, synchro mesh gearbox. In that also 3 4 speed and 5 speed. Then automatic transmission system. This is the schematic representation of synchro mesh gearbox. Synchro mesh gearbox is similar to constant mesh type gearbox. All the gears on the main shaft and lathe shaft are in constant mesh with each other. In constant mesh gearbox, if you want to get lower gear, the speed of clutch shaft, lathe shaft and main shaft gear must be increased and is accomplished by double declutching. Double declutching procedure is as follows. First, disengage the clutch and brought the gear to neutral position. Next, engage the clutch and increase the speed of main shaft gears by operating accelerator pedal. Once again, disengage the clutch and put the required lower gear. After that, once again engage the clutch. As the clutch is disengaged twice, this process is called double declutching. For obtaining higher gear, we have to go in the reverse manner. For smooth engagement of the gear. We have to wait with neutral gear till the mine shaft speed is decreased sufficiently. This is the problem we are facing in constant mesh gearbox. To eliminate this one, synchro mesh gearbox are arises, so that nowadays we are using we are observing synchro mesh gearbox in modern vehicles. Not modern means present you can observe in automatic along with synchro mesh you can observe. Coming to synchro mesh gearbox. With the help of this type of the gearbox, the double declutching procedure you can eliminate it. Here the members to be engaged are first brought into frictional contact. This makes their speed equal, and then the members may be engaged smoothly. However, these devices are not fitted fitted to all the gears. They are also used only on higher gears. Dog clutches are used on flow and reverse gear to reduce the cost. The schematic representation of gearbox. As you can see, coming to construction of this type of the synchronous gearbox. Here main part is synchronizer. The hub C sliding hub C is free to slide on the spines of the mine shaft. A ring member D, you can see in drawing, having internal teeth fit on the external teeth of sliding hub C. H is a dog teeth on the clutch gear B, and these also fit on the teeth of D. E is the fork fitted on D. G is the ball supported by spring and prevents the sliding of D on C. When axial force applied on D, when axial force applied on D through E exceeds certain value, the balls are overcome and D slides over C. Force F1 and F2 are the friction surface. Sorry, F1 and F2 are the friction surface, not force. Remember, not force. F1 and F2 is the friction surface. To obtain direct gear ring member D, the sliding hub C is slides towards left till friction surface F1 and F2 rub against each other and the friction makes their speed equal. Further pushing of D towards left causes the ring member to override the balls and get engaged with dog H and provides direct drive from gear B via C and the splines. Similarly, second gear is obtained by sliding the sliding hub C to right. This is the working of synchronizer in synchronous gearbox. This is the actual view and cross-sectional view of synchronous gearbox in that synchronizer. In left drawing you can see the splined output shaft, internal cone and spring-loaded balls. What I told in earlier slide, the external cone, dog teeth, dog gears. You can see that one. And right side shows the how that one dog is or meshing will be taken to the main gear. That one you can see. see the schematic representation of three-speed synchromesh gearbox. In this type, all the gears on the mine shaft are in constant mesh with the corresponding gears on the counter shaft. The mine shaft gears are free to rotate, while counter shaft gears are fixed to it. Since all the gears are in constant mesh, the gears on the input shaft, mine shaft, and counter shaft are always rotating with the running condition of engine. That is, when the clutch gear is rotating, the figure shows the fully synchronized transmission with all forward speeds having synchronizing device. The different gear ratios are obtained as follows. First, lower gear or first gear. Carefully observe the PPT. The lower gear is obtained by moving the synchronizer B to the left and synchronizer A is still in the neutral position. Friction surfaces rubs the rubs against the friction surfaces rubs against each other and the friction makes their speed equal. Further pushing of synchronizer B causes it to mesh with teeth of lower gear, that is number 4, and its drive is transmitted through 1 to 2, 2 to 12, 12 to 10, 10 to 4, 4 to B, B to 6. So the transmission pattern is 1 to 12, 10, 4, B 6. That is input shaft, gear 2, 12, 10, 4, then synchronizer B through the splines to the output shaft and lower gear is obtained. This is how we can get lower gear or first gear. Coming to second gear. When synchronizer is either A slide slide to the right, it meshes with gear 3 and second gear is obtained. The drive is transmitted through 1 to 12, 9, 3, A 6. B is in neutral. Next coming to third gear or direct gear or high gear. When the synchronizer A slide towards left with B is in neutral, it meshes with teeth of gear 2. This locks the input and output shaft together and the low and the power flow is direct. The cluster is driven and still turns the second gear, which is free to turn on the output shaft. This is how we can get direct gear. And now coming to reverse gear. Reverse gear is obtained by moving synchronizer B to the right with A in the neutral position. The input shaft turns the cluster, which is in turn drives the gear 5 through 11 and 8. The idler gear 8 changes the direction of rotation of input shaft. The drive is transmitted through 1 to 12, 11, 8, 5, 6. Likewise, we can achieve reverse gear in 3-speed synchromesh transmission system or 3-speed synchromesh gearbox. This is the schematic representation of 4-speed synchromesh transmission system. In this figure, you can observe first gear, second gear, third gear and fourth gear. Only the difference here, fourth gear is present as compared to previous slide. In the previous slide, only 3 speed is present instead of 4 speed. And also you can see in this type of system, for reverse gear, one reverse sliding gear is present along with rare reverse idler gear is present. That is the difference between 3 speed synchromesh transmission system and 4 speed synchromesh transmission system. Overdrive. This is one of the important component of automobile. Coming to overdrive concept. When the standard transmission has been shifted into higher gear, the ratio between the clutch shaft and the transmission main shaft is 1:1. The unit overdrive is located on the back of transmission between the transmission and the propeller shaft, provides a speed ratio over that of direct or high speed ratio. The overdrive allows the engine to operate at only about 70% of the propeller shaft speed. When the vehicle is running at higher speed, overdrive mechanism is a special equipment causes the main shaft to overdrive or turn more rapidly than the clutch shaft. When the overdrive is put into operation, it drops the engine speed by 30% without changing vehicle speed. Suppose if a vehicle runs 40 km per hour in direct gear with an engine RPM of 2000 RPM, the use of overdrive would decrease the engine speed to 1400 RPM without changing the vehicle speed. This is the main use of overdrive mechanism. Main part of overdrive is consists of planetary gear system and free wheel mechanisms. Coming to operation of overdrive mechanism, the cross section view of overdrive you can see in this slide. In the overdrive, the overrunning clutch is splined to the transmission output shaft in the back of splined pinion carrier. The ring gear is attached to the overdrive output shaft and three planet pinions mounted on a cage which is splined to the transmission main shaft. The sun gear may be allowed to turn or may be locked to keep it stationary. The output shaft overdrives the transmission main shaft when the sun gear is locked. The position ends of sun gear, ring gear, carriage and flywheel clutch you can see in this slide. When the transmission main shaft and overdrive output shaft are turning at the same speed, the sun gear is free. The overrunning clutch or free wheel mechanism will drive the internal gear or overdrive output shaft. The power directly goes to the clutch cam which is splined to the transmission main shaft. The clutch cam transmits power through the rollers to the outer race which is attached to the output shaft. When the sun gear is stopped, the planetary action will drive the internal gear faster than cage and clutch hub, and the overrunning clutch will remain disengaged. This is the working of overdrive mechanism. Fluid flywheel. This slide represents the cross-sectional view of fluid flywheel and principle behind this fluid flywheel. A fluid coupling or fluid flywheel or hydraulic coupling is a clutch used in automotive powertrains. When this mechanical coupling is engaged, it connects the engine to the transmission. It utilizes oil of suitable viscosity to transmit engine power from driving to driven member. The simple example to illustrate the working of fluid coupling is rotation of one fan causes another fan to rotate. That one you can see in right side drawing. That is, if the two fans are kept apart, and among those, if one is switched on, the current of air or fluid drives the another fan. Coming to construction of fluid flywheel, it consists of two rotors. One is attached to the engine crankshaft, that one is driving member, another to the transmission shaft, that is driven member. These two do not have direct contact with each other. The driven rotor is free to slide on the splines of the transmission shaft. The hollow space in the two members is filled with oil. The radial ribs or veins in these members forms the passage. When the engine starts, the oil is carried around the veins, thrown outward away from the shaft due to centrifugal force. The oil moves in a circular path in the rotating driving member, thrown out into the driven member, and strikes the veins in it. As oil strikes veins of the driven member, it imparts torque or turning effort to it. After striking the veins, oil would travel up, over, and back down into the driving member and again thrown back to the veins of the driven member. This repeated motion of oil in these members is termed as vortex motion. As engine speed increases, driving member turns faster, causes the oil to strike on the vanes of the stationary driven member, thus imparts greater turning effort to the driven member. When the speed of driving and driven members become equal, the rotary flow is constant and almost no vortex flow exists. Vortex flow is caused by centrifugal force throwing the oil outward. If the both members are whirling at same speed, each will try to throw oil into other, thus cancelling the vortex flow. This is the working of fluid flywheel. The torque converter. This is the cross-sectional view of torque converter. It is a device which performs the function of gearbox, that is, increases the torque while reducing the speed. The construction of this is similar to fluid coupling, but with one important difference, that it has an additional stationary member named as the stator or reaction member. The fluid coupling can transmit all available engine torque, but it cannot multiply this torque. But the torque converter increases or multiplies the torque in a ratio of about 2:1 to 3:1. Thus, torque converter performs the function of gearbox. The gearbox provides the torque variation only in finite number of steps. In torque converter, torque output variation is continuous and depends upon type of converter used. In torque converter, driving member is referred as the pump or impeller, and driven member is called turbine. In operation, pump drives the turbine. In coming to construction of torque converter, it consists of an impeller, also called as driving member. It is mounted on the engine crankshaft. Second part, turbine driven member, which is connected to the road wheels through transmission shaft. Third part is stationary member, which is mounted on the free wheel mechanism. When both driving and driven members are running at same speed, the free wheel mechanism allows the stationary member to run freely. An oil pump is used to supply the oil under pressure to avoid cavitation. The pressure is about 200 to 1200 kilopascal. Coming to operation of torque converter. When the impeller starts rotating, pushes oil into turbine due to centrifugal force, and initially turbine is stationary. The oil strikes the vanes and exerts some force. When this force is greater enough, turbine starts rotating and the vehicle moves. The turbine blades angle changes. The turbine blade angle changes the oil flow direction so that when it comes out of the turbine at the center, its direction is effectively backward. If there is no stator, oil pushes the impeller in the opposite direction and thus opposes the driving force of the impeller. This would result in loss of power. A stationary member called stator is used to change the direction of oil flow in favorable direction so that it enters the impeller in the helping direction and causes no dragging action on the impeller. The impeller again pushes the oil back into the turbine at trailing edge. This repeated pushing of turbine vanes increases torque on the turbine, and the phenomenon being called torque multiplication. This is possible only when there is a difference in the speed of impeller and turbine. The greater the difference, greater will be the torque multiplication. Thus, maximum torque multiplication is possible when the turbine is stationary. If the impeller is running fast at the engine speed, turbine is stationary, the condition is called stall. When, when the car moves with the increase in the turbine speed, torque multiplication gradually decreases. Torque multiplication will become unity when both torque members are running at same speed, that is impeller speed equal to turbine speed. This condition is called direct gear mechanism. This is the working of torque converter. This is the exploded view of torque converter. As I told, torque converter consists of three parts: impeller, stator and turbine. Without this stator, the torque multiplication is not possible. Hence, stator is very important part in this unit. Automatic transmission system. This is the last topic of this chapter. The cross-sectional view of automatic transmission is, you can see, This is the one example of Borg-Warner automatic transmission system. It consists of a single stage torque converter coupled to an epicyclic gearbox, which gives 3 forward and 1 reverse speed ratio. The turbine of the impeller is integral with the drum D1 and D2 of the clutches C1 and C2. When C1 is engaged, the drive goes to the sun gear S2, and if brake B is applied, it gives lower gear. The second gear is obtained by applying brake B2 instead of B1. The one-way clutch F prevents planet carries R from rotating backward but allows it to rotate forward. If C1 and C2 are engaged simultaneously, the gear is locked solid and a direct drive is obtained. For reverse gear, C2 is engaged and brake B is applied. The drive then goes from S1 to P1 and hence to the annulus A, the planet carrier being fixed. This is how we can achieve reverse gear in automatic transmission system. That completes the first part of the module 2. Dear student, for better understanding the concept of automatic transmission system, epicyclic, synchronous gearbox and clutches, in the description box I given YouTube links. You can go through that videos for better understanding. Thank you one and all.